Hey yo, what's good? What's going on, everyone, everywhere? Welcome back to another video, man. Make sure you like and subscribe, share the video out, all of the good stuff that you do for all the other YouTubers. Go ahead and do it for your boy as well, okay? Now look, as you about to the video, we've been hitting that nature precision, that nature prep, whatever you want to call that, nat prep. I don't know what you call it, but it's what we finna do, okay? All right, I'm gonna need two variants: super speed users, non-super speed users, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is for the AOE. My single target loadout will be coming out right after this, so stay tuned in for that. Now, oh yeah, real quick, you see how like it's like the gold, like the yellow zeros and stuff? Do y'all like that? I don't know how I feel about that. I just want to know. Like in the comment section down below, let me know if you like that change, that little quality of life, or no. I'm curious. I don't know if I really like it. Now keep in mind my CR is not maxed out, so you still have the potential to do more damage. I have the renown, I have the marks to buy the full set, but I want everything to be pretty consistent in terms of the testing, in terms of everything else, and I don't want to like sit here and have to retest and factor in the new numbers with a new might, new precision, new everything. So to avoid all that fiasco, I just left the same gear, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? Now, without further ado, the white mods is pretty much basic. Blast adapter for the weapon we're going to be using is Brawling, of course. Best AOE precision combination that you could possibly do in the game. Headpiece, Neo Venom boost, supercharge, 5% back. Special EOG nerf, you won't need this puppy, okay? Now, there is other headpieces that you could use if you don't want to, throw on the supercharge. I recommend supercharge, but if you don't want to, for whatever reason you feel like that is, all right, you can definitely come over to, where is that? Critical Carnage. Carnage is your, what's it called? Your weapon buff, weapon booster, whatever you want to call it, your weapon buff. You get 2% extra critical strike chance, which is very, very good. We are and have been in a crit meta for a while, especially with the the nerf of EOG. Crits have really shown their prominence. If you can get your highest crit chance, crit damage up as possible, you're gonna be golden, okay? So this is one way that you can definitely factor that in. Okay, there's a lot of other ways that we can increase our crit chance, so definitely keep that in mind. But if you feel like you're not critting that much and you're not really hitting the supercharges like that anyways, or if your group is just so good and you're still getting a lot of supercharges off, go ahead and throw this in there, okay? You won't rise to that top of the leaderboard, okay? Just trust you, me. All right, let's go ahead and throw it in for now, just so you know, so you see. All right, neck. Relentless precision, come on, precision, prac, DPS, you already know the deal. Back, berserker. If you don't know what I say every time, I'm gonna say it again. Berserker is the way to go on the back, alright? If you a DPS, this is the way to go. Now me, actually, I got the OP back. This from back in the day. Mind you, the actual one from the vendor is better now. If you're just trying to min-max all your stats. But because, OP item, don't feel like doing it. Plus all the testing's done with it. This go back that we're using right now. But in terms of berserker, y'all, like this thing is amazing. All right, I can't front. There's a lot of times where your health will drop low. Maybe you had in bad position. Maybe that the ad just spawned on top of you or right behind you. You get hit a little bit. No matter what happened, man, if you can get your health that low, you're gonna be golden. Now this is exceptionally well and almost procs indefinitely when you have that Lanier's amulet. Just because how high you build your stacks with how much health that you take away from yourself. But even as precision DPS, 10% extra damage is phenomenal. And mind you, we can stay 10% and go back in the cut and do damage from a distance. Okay, because we're doing weapon attacks. A little bit of powers went up, but weapon attacks what we focus on. So this is golden though, right? This is golden. You're gonna get below 35% quite often. You don't actually realize it, but you do. So when you do get below 35%, go ahead and take advantage, all right? Now, penetrating strikes, you know the deal. Not core strength. It don't do as much damage. Instead of penetrating strikes is better, especially for like any higher tier content. I think after like tier 2 or something like that, core strength became like obsolete compared to penetrating strikes, because as the enemy grows and like levels and tiers and CR and stuff, penetrating strikes just gets that much better. Like it's still small, but it just grows and grows to be that much better because they have more health and stuff like that. Okay, so it's definitely the way to go. Legs, restorative serpent call. It's not much healing, but hey, it's something. And especially if you do get below 35% and you about to die, go ahead, just pop restorative. You know what I mean? Serpent call. Pop you a soda, you golden again. Feet, I got dash combos. Definitely put in that tumbling master if you really want to, make sure you can maneuver and do the mechanics as need be. You don't need dash combos for this whatsoever at all. I just have it in left over from the previous video, so keep that in mind. Hands, max damage. You already know the deal. If you're DPS, you're not running max damage. I don't know what you're really doing, honestly. You missed out on damage. Height. Now, face, precision, and might. You already know. I have changed my mind a little bit because I did actually try with just straight precision. It is nice, but I will have to say, if you don't have a buff troll in the group that's focusing straight on precision, then precision might be, really the way to go. So for most of my player base, precision might be the way to go. If you are like really trying to min-max everything DPS come out to your life's existence, straight precision is good. Precision might is the second best. So I mean, let's just say how it is. Like, it's not enough said. Affinity mods, you would want to go type A and B, be both precision, not might. I have them both might because I do might based DPS videos as well. So check those out if you haven't already. C and D, I've always preached, they are your support role mods. None of the what consider like neutral game. I said neutral. Neutral game, or even your DPS side of mods, they're all not it. Okay, you're much better off and you have much more advantage if you just go ahead and leave type C and type D for your support roles. They're way better for those roles, and you know how to keep, spinning those source marks and keep repurchasing every time. Now, in terms of our trinkets, tier 3 pet, mother box okay, father box, alpha box. Check out a Study Tales video. He always does like a little breakdown joint, and his testing is fairly accurate, I will say. When it comes to like the trinkets, the allies, stuff like that, he's pretty accurate on point with that. Trinket, we got our stat buff trinket. Get this from the vendor. This is one of the first things you should get if you're trying to do a lot of DPS from early. Okay, even when the next DLC drop, the trinket is actually one of the best things you get, just because from the get-go it gives you the most. Okay, you don't have to sit here and hopefully you get a purple trinket or something. Like, nah, get what's best from the get-go and you'll be straight. All right, OMAC trinket. Now we're using this because it gives us a 5% crit chance for our weapon attacks. Okay, now it also gives us a health buff. I think it's like 125% base health buff to our character, which is going to be phenomenal when we have those, say it with me now, buff trolls in the group. So we're just playing on that, playing on top of everything. Okay, now the last trinket slot I have, number 4, I have the Gotham City emergency signal. You can get it just like $7-8, or it used to be, I think it's like 9 now or 10. But pretty much in that one, you'll get this. If you're a hero, you call Batman. If you're a villain, you call Joker. And if you're over, CR level 25, then it does damage. It does very good damage, like 300 plus K damage. I think it's close to 400. It definitely does like 500 on up, depending on how many enemies are around. Now, mind you, it's like with 5 enemies, it does like 300 plus K. So just imagine you scale it, it's like, I treat it like Orbital Strike, so to speak. It has a much longer cooldown than Orbital Strike, supply drop, henchman, all them. So definitely keep that in mind. But since it is in that 4th slot, it is just quick and easy to go ahead and change out with the matching artifact here. Supply drop, Orbital Strike, henchman as need be, okay? Now, in terms of artifacts, I've already talked about these two: Philosopher's Stone for Spot Drop, Decking Sector for Orbital. Those are swap artifacts, of course. But we can also go ahead and talk about our main artifacts that we will be running for these loadouts. Now, they're not going to change. For the loadout and me demonstrating the loadout rotation, just so you can get the numbers right, I will say that if you're not hitting beefy enemies or you're not doing like Elite Plus kind of deal, then take out Strategist Card. You're not going to need it. What you'll rather put in is actually Quizlet. It's a Strategist Card, but you already know Transformation Card is a must-have. Pretty much any DPS build, Strategist Card is good, especially when we're doing Spartan targets. You pretty much need it so your numbers match and they look all right. And then Venomous Dispenser. Alright, Venomous Dispenser is very good. I did say before that Quizlet would be better off than Venomous, but I don't know what happened to Venomous. I didn't even read the forums. I probably should have before I made this video, but I feel like Venomous got a little bit of a buff or something, because I'm noticing a pretty significant damage increase. Like before, Quizlet and Venomous were kind of like a little neck and neck. Venomous does get the edge most times, like more times than not, but the utility of Quizlet, the more supercharged you get, the extra damage you go supercharged is just phenomenal. Now, for some reason, I definitely see that Venomous Dispenser is the way to go. Okay, through more testing, I always test all the stuff extensively over multiple days, multiple times, try to control all the factors in it and all that. Venomous is definitely the way to go. And since it's AOE based, we doing hallways, doing ads, before the boss shows up, maybe while the boss is coming out, whatever the case may be, multiple enemies, this is gonna be the loadouts for you. I even have an alternative loadout too. Ooh, excuse me. For if there's multiple bosses, like when you find all the Batman, all, of those kind of varieties, Source Wall, Phoenix Cannon, those kind of deal, okay? Even with God of Monsters, Olympus and all that, right? Now, if you are doing your normal ad clear, Quizlet over Strategist Card, but if you are doing a boss fight, Strategist Card is still the way to go, okay? I just want to go ahead and make that abundantly clear. Now, you see my stats here, what we're working with. 176,446, almost said something else, might. Then we got 126,027 precision, combat rating or 412. Here see DPS, we got a crit chance, crit damage, all that good stuff. Alright, now do keep in mind, my base generator mods are not maxed whatsoever at all, and I only have one precision base generator mod. Okay, it's a tier, well, it's the right tier, but it's like 0.3, not a 0.4 that I crafted, only a 0.3. Okay, the other might ones are like 0.4. I think I got like 2.4s and 1.3 on might. So keep that in mind for a reference point of why my stats look the way they do. Now, another thing is why my stats don't look the way they do. As you see here, I haven't leveled this up. I've been a little lazy on that, I'm not going front. But I got the old one from the last DLC, so we kind of got a little bit going on there. And as you see, for our other augments here, they're all precision. They're all pretty much maxed out there. But yeah, you just want all precision for all your augments, all right? Now, in terms of our, allies, Shazam's gonna be the way to go. If you weren't using Batman Who Laughs, that's also another good viable option for AOE. Even Batman himself, viable option AOE. Death on a Batman, viable option, and does a debuff, so it has more utility in terms of option. Superman as well, okay? Now, if you need a little bit cheaper, a lot of my free-to-play premium players, and go ahead and get that sideboard menu. There's no reason why you shouldn't have sideboard at this point, unless you just started playing, or just started playing recently, I should say. But you've been playing for a while, why don't you have sideboard yet? Like, he don't be the way to go for you, especially for that AOE-based damage for the combat ally, okay? Now, in terms of the support ally, y'all already know we're nature, poison ivy is the way to go. Empowering spores, it's just quintessential at this point for nature, okay? You should not be rocking nature without poison ivy, we're being honest. Mine is 7 out of 10, so do forgive me on that. I just see, what I mean? Your boy been, I have been grinding, but same time, just, Y'all know, y'all feel me, okay? You see all these other 10 out of 10 ones. Come on now, cut me a little slack, cut me a little break, all right? Now, also, we got Batman Who Laughs, Luck of the Draw. This is an all-around good pick. You more want to have this just because it's a little bit of everything that you could get with other allies. Now, what am I meaning by that? Now, you could get the Powers Your Family buff, 6% might, 3% precision for 30 seconds. Mind you, Batman Who Laughs is going to be 5% might, 2.5% precision for 20 seconds, okay? So you do get a little bit less, but it's always pretty much there. It's only like a 10-second difference when it's not there, but it's pretty much always there. As opposed to using Shazam as a support ally, it's only after using a combat ally. Okay, so when you procs. Now, static, you can make a better case for, especially if you already have full supercharge. I would recommend that you actually swap out Batman Who Laughs and go and put static in. Now, with static, you want the electric overcharge one right here, which in popping your supercharge, you get more critical ability and weapon chance. Okay, now depending on what you're popping, now for us, we're going to be doing that 5,000, which is going to be 6% crit buff to us. Now, if you keep in mind, we got the 2% from the head mod. We got like a 5%, I believe, from the OMAC trinket, and another 6% here. We're stacking this up like crazy. Okay, our crit chances already was at 46%. So you add these extra percentages in the mix, we're gonna be doing some nice damage. Okay, that's another 13%. So that's what, 60, almost 60%. That's like one off from 60, but almost 60% crit chance. That's insane. Okay. Now, another one that you could use that is definitely viable, especially when you're going from group to group, add to add, is going to be Batman right here. Okay, the From the Shadows support ability, where you gain 10% might, 5% precision, which is very good, similar to Shazam. When you enter combat, or when your hit counter reaches 60. Now, for this being about ads, there's a lot of ads that are in groups, going from group to group to group to group to group. A lot of times you're going to be straight out of combat, going right back into combat, so you're going to keep proccing this over and over again. It's definitely very good. Now, I would say this is more dependent on your tank situation. One, if you have a tank. Two, is your tank one of the tanks that groups all the enemies together in one single swoop? Because if he does that, Batman Who Laughs is going to be your better option, or static, over regular Batman here, okay? This Batman's not going to be your best friend unless you just have a tank that lets, maybe groups up like 2 or 3 groups, and they group all together, and then you move on to the next group, and then you know what I mean? If you're moving on to multiple groups, this is going to be the one to go over Batman Who Laughs. If not, Batman Who Laughs is always a good, safe option. We get to increase stats, we recover there. We get to increase crit chance, recover there. We get power generation, especially when us being in the mix of all these different ads, all these different groups. Power generation is going to be vital and key. A lot of trolls don't really spec for power like that, especially the buff trolls. So covering our backside, especially how we do spec into our stat points, power generation is going to be a very, very nice thing to have. Now, also, we get 10% health. Now, 10% health is going to be phenomenal, especially with those buff trolls in those groups, to get our precision even higher. So it's like, essentially like a little have your cake and eat it too kind of deal. All right, so there's 2 ways that we can increase our precision stats with this one right here, and 3 ways, essentially, that we increase our damage, the 2 precision buffs, as well as the crit chance buff. So, Batman Who Laughs is going to be a very good pick. All right. Now, in terms of our actual spec of things, we're only going to spread into Brawling. You only need to spec into everything so you can get Shuriken Storm. And to get Shuriken Storm, you also need to spec all the way down into the Martial Arts Master here. To do that, spec all the combos. Then you get that, you come back over, and bam, it's going to be there for you. So we want that specific combo. Excuse me, y'all, I'm messing this up left and right, but we're going to keep going because I need to get this video out already. I'm already a little late. So, movement, get your go fast, get your break on resistances and recoveries, especially if you are over, I would say, 450 to 500 skill points plus. Go ahead and get these resistances. You have enough skill points at that point, okay? Now, if you're super speed, get Whirling Dervish. If you're not super speed, don't worry about any of these other ones, okay? Even for your specific movement, acrobatics will eliminate y'all. Y'all be loving that little grapple pull. This is not it for AOE, okay? Now for iconic powers, I was testing some things down with that gag glove and multi-shot battering. If you want to know the result of that, multi-shot battering is a little bit better for AOE than gag glove is. Gag glove is not very consistent how it deals with damage. Not gonna front. But all you want to get, honestly, is Robot Sidekick, Neo Venom Boost, and if you are, once again, over 450 skill points, I more suggest over 500 skill points, go ahead and at least spec one of that super strength. It helps your weapon damage. It is so minimal, you will not really see the difference unless you just do very extensive testing. It's really like 1 or 2 more, 10 more, 20 more. I think now it's like probably like 100 or 2 more, but like it's still very minimal. Like you're not gonna see this difference, okay, unless you're really looking for it. So with that being said, don't get it unless you have a lot of skill points. Then you can just expect the difference and min-max your character out, okay? Now with that being said, stat point wise, pretty much in terms of importance, we're gonna go right down the left hand column, okay? Weapons expert focus, crit chance, crit damage, spec and precision, dump it all in. If you have anything left over, spec it all in the mind power. Now I will suggest you at least get 1 into health, and if you're having power, your regeneration problems, especially in a lot of content, get 1 into vitalization as well. Since we're using our weapon so much, vitalization is going to be very, very nice to help our regenerate own power at the end of the day, okay? Now, in terms of actual loadouts that y'all came here for, so this one right here is going to be my non-super speed variation of the loadout. What you're going to do is have Swarm. Swarm is like Robot Sidekick, so to speak, but a weaker version. Just a dot that we're going to have all the time up. It says 12 seconds cooldown, but it lasts way over 12 seconds. I think it's like 16 seconds that it actually lasts for, so it's kind of insane that it does that. But Swarm, nice little dot. Carnage, weapon buff. Servant Call, supercharge generation, and dot and poison interaction. Then we're gonna have Voracious Plants, nice little burst with a little bit of a dot, and the poison enemies take additional damage, synergy. Robot Sidekick, Neo Venom Boost, okay? Now, in terms of rotation, you're gonna always clip the Swarm right here into Carnage. As you see, they're both 12-second cooldown, so you always clip them together. Do a weapon combo, hit Serpent Call, weapon combo, Voracious Plants. Then you're pretty much gonna spam out weapon combo, Voracious Plant, weapon combo, Voracious Plants, back until Swarm and Carnage are back again to hit. Once they're back again to hit, you pretty much do same left to right. So clip these together, weapon combo, Serpent Call, weapon combo, Voracious Plants, keep spamming that weapon combo, Voracious Plant, back until it's ready again. Now what's this gonna look like is this right here. You clip these two together, weapon combo. And if you can look at the bar, you're pretty much gonna wait for that bar to be like at least like 3/4 of the way. I know some people actually asked about that for precision. Yeah, you can clip out of the weapon combo itself, especially with this brawling one. It is actually pretty fast, so you pretty much always will do it unless you're just going stupid fast. But for the most part, you'll clip out of it. But for those who are, single target and all that, you pretty much wait like 3/4 of the bar at the bottom there that pops up, that little blue one, and you'll go from there. As you see, we're gonna hit like around that it's gonna be pretty much around 350 mark in range, 340s, even 330s, I would say, to 360s. Okay, is what we're gonna be hitting for. See, it's like 339 per 1,000 per second. That is, okay. If y'all know what I'm talking about. I did kind of mess up there, so that's why it's kind of dropping. I do apologize. Let me kind of focus a little bit, you know what I mean? Oh man, I messed up again. Let me apologize when I messed it up. But yeah, this one is it's gonna do a decent amount of damage. Not gonna front y'all. See 350. But I will have to say the super speed variation, although it has less stuff that does damage, i.e. Oral and Dervish instead of Swarm, it still does more damage. Just the little bit of quickness that you add to it adds up over time. So yeah, it just helps, okay? And the way it like in the rotation of that loadout, it's gonna help a lot more. Now, what that look like is this right here. Okay, we got Serpent Call, Carnage, Voracious Plants, Whirling Dervish, Robot Psychic, Neophyte. Okay, actually we just put in Whirling Dervish and move Serpent Call over here, took out Swarm. Okay, now this specific loadouts rotation, it's gonna be the exact same, okay? The only difference is we're gonna alternate Voracious Plant and Whirling Dervish here. Now Whirling Dervish, to get out of the animation, you will just have to tap your weapon again. So it's like you tap your triangle for me on PlayStation. So you tap your range button about twice, so you still do that brawling clap there. And you pretty much just keep going back and forth, as you see, until Carnage is back up. Then you hit Serpent Call again. See, 366. So it does, more damage. It would hit a little bit faster. Now it does kind of drop as you're seeing, but I am also kind of butchering the rotation. I'm not doing it to peak min-maxing. Now a lot of y'all are gonna be struggling at first too, just like how I am trying to do the video and show y'all and all that at the same time. So definitely keep that in mind. Just keep practicing it and you'll get it down pretty easily. But yeah, this is on that same range, that 330,000 per second to about that 370. Oh, what was the highest I hit? I think it was like 376,000 per second. It was like some change after that, but 376,000 per second is what this specific loadout did. Now it is pretty good for that, and I will have to say that is very, very good. Now if you do want to do a little bit more damage for those like tankier, chunky enemies, or even if you're doing multiple bosses and you burn them all at once, one thing you can do is pretty much do the every let me put that here, the every dot build. Okay, every dot build, especially with nature here, is pretty good. I'm not gonna front. Mind you, it does less damage than these burst ones, especially for the every dot one. It takes a while to ramp up, so it's very let it cook kind of build, and then it does decent damage. I can show you the damage that it does right now. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do a weapon combo, and let's just spam our 3 dots, then do a weapon combo so we not lose too much DPS. Clip our Harvest into our Carnage, and pretty much weapon combo Harvest is the only thing you're going to be doing. Weapon combo Harvest day in, day out until Carnage is back up, or going Harvest, Carnage. Keep going. Now it does good damage. It does take a while to ramp up, but especially depending on what you have in the group, what your group combination, whatnot, this could be viable if you're doing more tankier enemies. Now this one I had hit even higher. The highest I hit with this was 377,000, so it's pretty good. Hit slightly higher than the previous loadout that was more made for burst. Actually, it definitely dips. You're more really relying on the crits of it all to really take it to the next level. Now mind you, for those who have questions too, when I say certain numbers like 377,000 per second, that is without any buffs. I'm not on no cola, no trinket, no nothing. Now the ally may be buffing me up in that regard, the support ones, but not the combat. I'm not popping no supply drop, not popping no orbital, no supercharge, no cookie, no nothing. Okay, that's why I like to do all these tests where it's just the base form of it, and then all those extra buffs are just extra supplemental buffs that you add after the fact to ramp up your damage even further. And we already know what those kind of numbers look like. If you don't know, England is, excuse the dog in the background, he knows my voice. Everybody say hi to the dog. But for those who don't know, if you already hitting in 300s of thousands per second, you hit a supercharge 500,000. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like half a millisecond. It is pretty good in that regard. Also, keep in consideration, which is one of the reasons why that build does a lot of damage for bosses, is because certain things do not get the buff, okay, of your supercharge, especially for Neo Venom. Neo Venom is good because it works on your weapon and your powers, but it does not work on Robot Sidekick. It does not work on Swarm. So stuff like that, those pets, it doesn't buff them up whatsoever at all. So when I was saying like all the dots together, especially when you're hitting, you know, Neo Venom boost and whatnot, you're definitely gonna ramp up your damage quite heavy. And if someone hit Word of Power, which is made for your actual abilities and your might, now it increased the crit damage and crit chance of your actual abilities, not your weapon, but your abilities. And that, if someone in your group hits that for you, then it'll ramp up your dots even more. That's why I said it's very like situational, and it can do a lot of damage. I was already doing more damage than this one without all those buffs. So just imagine when you have all those buffs. Okay, it's gonna be very, very good. Now I'll even show you real quick what one supercharge looks like, just so y'all have a picture and idea. Probably won't be the greatest. Yet again, I'm talking, but I don't want y'all to be bored and click off the video because you don't hear me speak. You know what I mean? Ooh, see, I messed that up completely. I was stuck in that whirling dervish. Look at me. Probably should have waited to hit that until I was already in the 300Ks. Ooh, I'm messing up. See, that was 400 right there, and we started at 2s. Oh my goodness. You know what? Y'all get the picture already. I'm gonna stop because I just messed up like several times back to back to back. I'm not gonna embarrass myself any further. All right, it's a good loadout. Trust you me, it's good. Try it for yourself. Take everything with a grain of salt, mind you. I do a lot of extensive testing. Every YouTube video, every Discord can be a part of, can jump into, every website, people online, everywhere I get a hold of a loadout, of a build, of a rotation, I try to do it. I even run with other people, run with random people, pug stuff and all that, and see whose nature, and ask them, hey, what's your loadout? Hey, what are you using? To see, I'm gonna test their stuff and see if I can, do damage with it. Can I tweak it a little bit to make it do more damage, and go from there. That's why a lot of these videos take a long time to make, because there's so much testing that goes behind it. Trying to give you all the best possible loadouts, stuff that's not only consistent but does the most damage as well. Okay. With all that said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video out. Let me know if there's any loadout that is better in the comment section down below. What would you change and whatnot? I know some people like to have I call it the super speed special. Is when they have vortex trap and phase dodge all together, and it kind of looks like this. Looks like that, right? And then they'll even take a step further and take Robot Sidekick out, just so they can have vortex trap, which is a 4-second cooldown, not a 3-second, mind you, which messes up the rotation several times over, because it has to be 2-3 seconds, or something like harvest, which can be done 1.5 seconds, which can be done back to back to back, as you saw on the previous rotation. Okay, so the fact that this 4 seconds messed up the rotation several times for this. All right, now this, and they go like that, then they jump to cancel out, then you gotta jump, vortex trap to cancel out, and then you gotta do this twice, and then it's a whole thing. It does okay damage, but it's definitely not better damage. Like, see, that should have hit 300s already on the second one. But yeah, it's not doing enough damage, as you kind of saw there too. But yeah, without further ado, like, comment, subscribe, share the video out, all the other good stuff. I just want to show y'all all that. I know it's an info dump, and I'll be messing up all the time, but bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to just go ahead and put this out for y'all. Let me know how y'all like it. If y'all do want me to actually slow it down a little bit, the video will lengthen quite a bit, but I'll be able to take my time, won't have so many mistakes, and actually show y'all the full extent of everything. If y'all want that, let me know in the comment section down below as well. Then we can go from there and make that change. If you want a shorter form, I'm thinking about doing some YouTube shorts and TikToks and whatnot and post it up of the, the already made videos and stuff at the certain parts. Let me know if y'all want that as well, if that's kind of better to do. But yeah, peace and shalom, y'all.